Hey everyone, Shawn McBride here. I want to talk a little bit today about protest and what we're seeing out there. Excuse me, actually, I was researching a new topic. We'll be doing an upcoming piece on protest here. Having a little camera issue. Let me see if I can sort that out real fast for you. Bear with me, live show here, guys. So I think my camera kind of went into the wrong mode here. So I want to talk about. There we are, guys. All right, community and crisis. So, how do we build community in a time of crisis? This is a time for pulling answers together, right? It's not a time for second guessing ourselves or for really spinning our wheels, right? We've talked before on future editions of the Future Done Right show that this is a time of opportunity and we need to look for answers. And answers often come from our community, right? Those that we're around. So I think it's critical at this time that we start building our communities in this time of crisis, right? As people are disorganized, as people are finding new ways to do things, as our routines are disrupted, it's a great time to bring answers together and figure out how we can work together and start implementing those answers. And I believe for most of us that the answers are in our communities, right? They're in people similar to us, people that are facing similar challenges, whether that's a grouping of business owners or it's a grouping within that, right? A group of companies that are tech startups or a group of lawyers, right? So much of our answers are within groups, and we need to really bring our minds together collectively in this time, right? It's a great time to group together for solutions. None of us are seeing the entire market. And as I've been having discussions with folks as we work through COVID-19 and other things, it's clear that we need to think broader and we need to bring other people's learning and training together. And we can find ways to do that. Even now, in the time of COVID, where we may not want to be having large group meetings, we can still bring people together and learn from each other, right? And there's a lot of forms available for that. Zoom meetings being a big one, right? We can do roundtables, we can do breakouts. We can really pull everybody together around something where we can learn from each other. We just need to come up with the format. And I think what's critical is that we get communities organized in finding that solution and get talking about the problems. What are you seeing as a fellow restaurant owner? What are you seeing as a fellow lawyer? What are you seeing as a fellow business owner? And what challenges are you having specifically? And what solutions have you attempted? Or what solutions might you attempt? I know from being through a bunch of different workshops in my career, a lot of times when I'm working with somebody whose business is similar to mine, but yet different, I often learn a lot from them. I'll tell them about a problem I'm having, and they'll bring in some solution from their industry or from their prior learning. And bringing that together can be really powerful. So start thinking about how to build a community around it and how to facilitate those discussions. Zoom has a wonderful breakout session feature, right? So you can have everybody together in a main meeting, say, hey, let's meet at noon Eastern. Of course, don't meet at noon Eastern because you'll miss the live taping of the Future Done Right show here on YouTube. I'd prefer to have you with me, but maybe 1 p.m. Eastern after you watch the Future Done Right show together. You can all get together as a group, as a community, and say, what issues are we facing? What are we learning? What problems do we have? And how can we talk through them? So think about how to build a group, but then also think about how to facilitate discussions around solutions. It's really tough right now to stay motivated and to deal with everything. But if you're in a group and you're finding solutions together, it really will push the motivation forward. I know I'm in a group right now where we're working on YouTube videos and watching all the other motivated people improving themselves and their techniques and what they're doing and having forward momentum creates forward momentum for me too. So it's a great opportunity to create that momentum together within the group. And it also may mean partnerships. There may be people out there that you want to align with now. So if we can get communities coming together and talking about what problems we have and what answers we need, this can lead to alliances and partnerships. And this could be in the business context, but it also could be in the political or social context. If enough people coalesce around a problem or an issue, then we can start figuring out how we can work together to fix that problem. And that may be making a political change, or it may be making a for profit business enterprise. But the more you have the grouping of the right people together, the more you're going to move forward. And I know the type of people that typically tune into the show. So you are a small business, and don't be afraid to talk to your competitors, right? Your quote competitors, people who are doing the same business, maybe even same business in the same town, because the truth is you may be able to create something better than what you could individually. For small businesses, I always say the competition's out there, right? It's not between you and maybe the business that's on the other side of town. It's between you and the marketplace. And so, could you and the business on the other side of town, who perhaps has great knowledge as you do about the market, the marketplace, what's happening, could the two of you combine together and create something better than either of you could individually? If you're in a community together, you can have those types of discussions. You can find where it is. You can build new alliances. Or maybe you find somebody who can create that last piece your business is missing. Let's say you're a restaurant and you need a new, different delivery solution than some of the ones that are commercially available on the market. Well, if there's somebody in your community that does that, well, you've got the starting of an alliance without even doing much work. And here's another important part of building community in a time of crisis is you can support each other. You can start building that knowledge and understanding of what each other are going through. And you can literally pat each other on the back and say, hey, you're doing a good job. I see what you're doing. Or I understand your difficulties. I understand the challenges. Just bringing together support within the community can be so critical to advancing our goals, right? Knowing that we're loved, knowing that we're understood, knowing that we are a business owner that's dealing with many challenges like many other business owners, that we're not alone. Because being a business owner can be an island, particularly in a time like this. You may be spending more time with your family. You may be working with your coworkers differently. You're probably not going to networking events and seeing other business owners. And you start to feel that you're all alone. You're the only one with your problems and issues. You're the only business owner who is struggling to find new ways to sell. You are the only business owner that has your operations disrupted. You feel like you're the only one. But if you build a community around you, if you join a community of business owners, you don't have to be the only one. You can talk to others. They can motivate you. They can help you find a solution. So think about developing that support within a community. How does everybody come together to create a bigger pie? It also creates normalcy. If you're in a community, you create norms. This is why you have to be very careful about how you build your community or what community you join, because the values of that community, what you see the other business owners, what you see the other business leaders in your community doing, will start to become your normal. So you got to be very careful about what that normal is, right? You don't want that normal to be something you don't believe in, that doesn't match your core values. It's not fundamentally consistent with who you are. But done correctly, that community could build normalcy, and it could be a place, a safe haven, a place to go back and recharge your batteries, a place to give you structure in an otherwise unstructured world, because so many of our schedules have been changed. We don't commute the same way we used to. We don't go to meetings the way we used to. We don't have conferences and events, right? For those who've been watching, I have a Best in Events channel on YouTube, and we talk about the future of the events industry. Events industry very disrupted. Now we're building a community to get through it together. We're talking about what we're seeing. We're talking about what's developing. We're talking about what it looks like on the other side. Community, community, community. But it's also some normalcy. We have people from the events industry tuning into the shows. We're having conversations with people in the events industry. Suddenly, it doesn't feel like you're the only one that's being hit by this pandemic and having your events shut down. You're not the only one. And events people will tell you, events were one of the first things to shut down, were the last things to reopen. So you feel like you're in a very unique situation if you're an event planner, if you're an event host, but you're not. If you get around other event planners and other event hosts, you may find that you are not unusual. You're having the same issues. You feel like you're at home. You feel like you're understood. Your family may not understand the stresses of not having your events and the stresses of having to replan your events, but your community members probably do. If you're learning something today, I'd love to hear your comments. Drop them here at the Future Done Right channel on YouTube, whether you're watching live or if you're picking us up on recording. And of course, make sure you subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Ring the little bell for notifications. We're live at noon Eastern every day talking about the future of business, what we're seeing. Today being an unusual case, 11 a.m. I have a workshop for some events that I'm involved in at noon Eastern. So we've moved it up an hour today only. But tomorrow we'll be back at noon Eastern. So go ahead and block your calendar and join us here at the Future Done Right show. But we really want to build a community. So, come check us out. Check out all the library of YouTube videos, tons of stuff about the future of business. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you keep getting these notifications and mark noon Eastern on your calendar so you can be with us here live on a regular basis and join the conversation and put your questions out there. And I'll do my best to answer the questions and issues of the audience. And the other big thing about the community is you're laying a foundation to move forward. You are setting the path to get where you're going. You are where you are in business right now, and you may have been you may feel like you took a step back. You may feel like you're not as accomplished as you once were. But if you're in a community, that community can be your path forward. You can go together. Right? The old saying is, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, travel as a group. And I believe that, right? The community will push you forward. So there's a lot of uses for community here in crisis. I think the biggest thing is it serves our needs as humans to be part of something bigger than ourselves. You may not feel like you're a part of a lot of stuff, or you may feel like you're disconnected from a lot of the events in the world because they're just happening so fast. There's so many of them, and many of them are very stressful. But in your community, you can actually feel rested and assured and know that you're part of something. So I highly encourage you to go out there, build that community. Of course, subscribe to the Future Done Right channel on YouTube and start moving forward, because if you join us, you're part of our community too. Community of builders. Communities are a community of people that are taking their businesses to the next level. It's important stuff, folks. I'm glad you're here. Looking forward to joining you tomorrow at noon Eastern. Make sure you subscribe to Future Done Right channel. I'll see you tomorrow at noon Eastern for another episode of the Future Done Right Show.